How does a millionaire look like? Playboy type? Fancy car? Mansion? Private jet? Stay tuned to find out. The Millionaire Next Door: The Surprising Secrets of America's Wealthy by Thomas J. Stanely and William D. Danko. I remember reading this book when I was in college. It gave me a realistic perspective of what a real millionaire looks like, and not the media portrayal of one. Here are 3 big ideas in this book that will give you a better idea of what it is like to be a millionaire. Number 1. Pause. Prodigious accumulator of wealth versus yours, underaccumulator of wealth. A prodigious accumulator of wealth is someone who is able to accumulate wealth well compared to his or her relative income. An under-wealth accumulator is someone who have a low net worth compared to their income. For example, if you're 30 years old and make $60,000 per year, then your net worth should be around $180,000. 30 years times 60,000 times 10%. If your net worth is over $180,000, then you are a paw. Anything under, and you are a yaw. I have a client who at the peak of his career owned 27 multifamily buildings in New York City and 3 businesses. Some of the buildings had as many as 70 units. His lifestyle was similar to what you would see in The Wolf of Wall Street. He had fancy cars, expensive luxury clothes, shiny jewelry, private yacht, multiple partners, and had connection to powerful people at the time. He said his lifestyle is comparable to John Gotti. I didn't believe him until I saw his pictures and his exotic art collections. This client of mine is now 75 years old and is down to one last building and one last house. He went through divorces and constantly talks about his golden years. I find it hard to believe how someone with such immense amount of wealth can lose it all now that he is near the end of his life. It turns out that he lives lavishly and spends like no tomorrow. He also went through 4 divorces, which explains part of it. This client of mine was a multi-millionaire who was living like a king. However, even with the amount of wealth he had, it wasn't enough to sustain his lifestyle. Live within your means. 2. Be frugal and spend on what is necessary. Do not create an appearance that you are wealthy before you become truly wealthy. When you create an image of wealth, you have to spend a lot more to maintain that image. Buying luxury goods is never a good idea, since luxury good has a high price for a low intrinsic value. When I was in college, I would buy luxury goods to create a status lifestyle. I was making some money at the time and decided to shop at Louis Vuitton. As soon as I bought a shirt from Louis Vuitton, I noticed I have to buy shoes to go with it. I cannot wear anything inferior. I bought Prada shoes after. I then realized I can't only have one outfit. I can't just dress luxury one day and then resume to normal the next. Before I realized, I was stuck in a vicious cycle of changing my lifestyle to fit this new luxury image. Before long, I was stuck with credit card debt. The luxury goods I bought also depreciated in value. People who appear wealthy aren't as wealthy as they appear to be. People who appear normal also aren't as poor as they seem to be. I have a client who I have worked with for many years now. If you see this man on the street, you will wonder if he is homeless. He wears worn-out t-shirts that he has been wearing for many years. Half of the time I see him, he is all sweaty and at best look casual. This man owns 8 buildings and 2 businesses. He is a multi-millionaire. The reason why he appears like that is because he owns a restaurant on Wall Street where he has to deliver lunch to all over the area. He doesn't have a car and is very frugal. However, you cannot confuse him being frugal for cheap, because if he sees value in something, then he will spend his money on it. I once recommended 2 commercial properties for him to purchase and went through a full analysis of why the buildings are a good purchase. I drove him to check out the area in the building. He was convinced and offered full price for what the seller was asking for. He pulled out money right away to try to make a deposit. He also doesn't skimp on professional service. He pays his advisors handsomely for their service because he sees the value. Live frugal. Spend money on the things with a price tag that reflects its value. 3. Spend time tracking and monitoring your wealth. How much money did you spend last month? Which category did you spend the most in? How is it compared to last month? Are you able to answer these questions? Most millionaires spend a good portion of their time on managing their wealth. They also have a group of advisors aside from doing everything themselves. These people are accountant, lawyer, financial advisor, and even real estate professional if their portfolio involves real estate. My client, Mr. Giordano, owns an auto repair shop and has been working there for 35 years of his life. He spent most of his time covered in oil to help his client fix their cars. He calls his customers his family. He spends all his money to buy corner commercial properties around his shop. In 2014, he retired, and I helped him lease 2 of his commercial lots out. One was to Toyota for $22,000 on a triple net lease, meaning no management, no payment whatsoever for the landlord, pure passive income. And the other property was to Rite Aid for $18,000 per month. He makes $40,000 a month from not having to do anything. When I asked him on how did he get to where he is today, he told me that he spent 1 full day at the beginning of every month to review his finance. If he was doing well, then he would set aside money to invest. If he had a bad month, he would figure out ways to reduce his spending. He knew every bill he had to pay and for how much they are. He studied his finance rigorously to make sure every hard-earned dollar was well spent. Now he is retired with a large estate and is living his dream of recording music and performing. I try to set time aside during the beginning of every month to review my personal finance. Although I don't spend an entire day like Mr. Giordano, I still spend 2 hours to make sure I record everything and keep track of it on my computer. I know a lot of millionaires and all of them look like normal people. All of them are small business owners who took years to accumulate and grow their wealth. All of them invest their money and have trusted advisors. I also know a lot of people who appear to be millionaires. These people are just like the ones described in the book. Most of the time they call me because they need to sell to pay off their debt. It is hard to sustain a luxury lifestyle unless you have true wealth. If buying luxury good is one of your desires, then do so when you actually become wealthy. Here's the final takeaway. Plan ahead and you can one day become a paw. I am proud to say that I belong in the category of a paw. Thank you for watching this video. Please share and subscribe for more videos.